Welcome to Britain. Home of fine cuisine, exciting nightlife, and animal lovers. But most of all, a land of freedom. In 2003, Tony Blair and George Bush started to spread this freedom to Iraq. 3 coaches of day trippers set off for the US military base in Furford, Gloucestershire, to protest against the war. On the way, they were pulled over for a routine traffic stop by over 100 police in riot gear. The officers held them for 2 hours and searched every nook and cranny.
Nothing in here that's going to hurt me or you? No?
No.
Anything sharp in here too?
I've got keys, a variety of other things. Do you think any of us are going to actually make it to the protest that we're trying to attend legally?
I'm not going to ask those sorts of comments. We've got a job to do and we will do it.
Excuse me, you missed something.
Thank you.
The operation unearthed some paper masks, scissors, and several toy soldiers.
What he said was that due to the items that have been seized, we can't go on to Fairford because there might be a breach of the peace, and so we're going to be escorted back to London. That's what he said.
Hello? This is illegal.
They won't let you stop. They won't. You can try.
Do you want to get out the private? I need to speak to... They're not letting us out. Can we go? Pull it. The police are pressing the door against me. They're using 3 people.
Hey! This is a moving vehicle. He wants to talk. He wants to talk to your senior officer.
They've got 5 policemen pressing the door closed. They're filming me in legal terms. They can't do this.
They won't let us get off the coach to go to the toilet. People are feeling quite sick. The driver is actually quite scared because he's been threatened by the police. They've obviously threatened to arrest him. And people are getting pretty desperate. And it feels like we've been hijacked.
In 1933, a fire broke out in the Reichstag Parliament in Germany. Hitler declared that this was a terrorist attack by the communists and used the media to spread fear and panic. He then passed the Reichstag Decree, which was an anti-terror law that stated it is permissible to restrict the rights of personal freedom. This removed the people's rights to a fair trial and free speech. In 1938, the J stamp on an ID card was used to identify Jewish shops. And on Kristallnacht, their windows were smashed and the Holocaust began. As no one could protest, Hitler was able to build the world's most brutal totalitarian state. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and Britain and France declared war. A generation was devastated in the hope that future generations might live without tyranny. In 1945, the Allies declared victory and said never again. To protect the world from war, they had to protect the citizen from the state. If Hitler had not taken the liberties from the German people, they might have stopped Hitler taking Germany to war. In November 1950, the leaders of the war-torn countries of Europe came together to try to prevent these horrors ever happening again. The European Convention on Human Rights was authored by Winston Churchill and contained the fundamental protections of an individual from their own government. These would remain intact in Britain for the next 50 years.
A new dawn has broken, has it not?
Back in 1997, we couldn't wait to give the Conservative Party their marching orders.
Are you happy with Mr. Gordon?
Cometh the hour, cometh the man.
No, hang on a minute. No.
Tony Blair wasn't a politician. He was a movie star.
Now, when the Labour Party was founded, I've always wanted to do this on the stage at the Astor Hall. It's great.
Middle England was charmed, so Tony moved into Downing Street. The nation was in safe hands. New Labour started to pass more laws than any other government in history, and in just 10 years created over 3,000 new criminal offences. It is illegal to impersonate a traffic warden. Don't even think about importing potatoes from Poland. And it is now a criminal offence to set off a nuclear bomb. But the terrorist attacks in America on September the 11th, 2001, gave Tony Blair his chance to perform on the world stage.
And the world is grateful for all that Great Britain has contributed in the war against terror.
Thank you.
Good job.
To protect the nation from terror, the Blair government passed a series of laws that also undermined our basic liberties.
If, God forbid, any terrorist act happens in this country, believe you me, people are not going to be asking whether this legislation is too draconian, whether it's too great an incursion into people's civil liberties. No one's going to be saying that to me. They're going to be saying, are you sure it was tough enough?
On the 7th of July 2005, I boarded a train at Finsbury Park in North London to make my normal journey into work. I had a new job in West End. And all of a sudden, bang. We were all covered in black, oily soot and blood, and people were bleeding, people had glass in their feet, people were badly injured, they were crying. So I kept saying, come on, we're nearly there, don't worry, and let's go and complain to London Underground, this has been a rubbish journey, and stuff, anything just to stop people panicking.
We will not allow violence to change our societies or our values.
Blair has always said we won't let the terrorists change our way of life, but they are changing our way of life, and not the terrorists who are changing it, it's the government.
Right. We've had the Terrorism Act of 2000, the Anti-Terrorism Crime and Security Act of 2001, the most recent Prevention of Terrorism Act 2005, the changing of the law to allow terrorist suspects to be detained. We've also modernised our extradition laws. We will extend the use of control orders. Should legal obstacles arise, we will legislate further.
Don't panic, it's okay. One person got on my train with a bomb. 900 other people kept calm, looked after each other. Thousands of people wanted to help us. London got back to work the following day, got on with it. We haven't had any 7/7s since. It's doable. If I died, I wouldn't want the Constitution to be shredded on my behalf.
Let no one be in any doubt, the rules of the game are changing.
Conference Tony Blair.
Freedom of speech means sometimes having to listen to things you don't want to hear. Tony Blair got round this problem at the Labour Party conference by banning any mention of the Iraq War.
Oh, we weren't expecting you.
Oh, weren't you? The Germans, don't mention the war.
I see.
Walter Wolfgang has been a member of the Labour Party since before Tony Blair was born.
He's 83 years old. I've known him for years. I didn't know till last year he was a refugee from the Nazis. He goes to the Labour conference, makes the best speech at the conference. He says nonsense.
When Straw summed up, it was too much for me, and I burst out and shouted nonsense.
We're in Iraq now for one reason only.
We can only remain there with their consent.
And then somebody shouted out, "Leave the old man alone," and they set on him.
Nation building
has never been easy. Now, let us say Germany.
We want you to leave the premises.
On what grounds?
On grounds of causing an eruption in the arena.
I'm sorry. You can't make me leave the premises. I've got a right to my views, as Jack has got a right to his. They actually hurt Steve Forrest, but he has a strong constitution, so bruises went after a fortnight.
They hit him?
Oh, yes, they did.
Would you just go with him?
No chance. Come on, this is private.
Stop this, you're breaking my camera.
Well, police have asked you to move. Can you move?
Move back.
Walter was detained under the Terrorism Act.
They think that if they can control a conference, they control public opinion. They don't. And of course the effect was exactly the reverse.
I'm really sorry. That should not happen, not in any circumstances at all. And look, I wasn't even in the conference centre at the time.
That's fine, sir. You can make your protest. Just thank goodness we live in a democracy and you can.
Well, the danger is that they will create an atmosphere where public protest becomes more and more difficult.
You can now be fined for disagreeing with the government anywhere in the country. You don't even have to voice your dissent to feel the long arm of the law.
I certainly didn't think it was going to be offending people to the point where we were actually given a fixed penalty notice. We started as the main suppliers for the Countryside Alliance. A 20-year-old girl who was arrested was walking along when she was told she had to change her shirt. She's only 20-year-old, really nice girl, very, just lovely actually. And told to take the top off. And she sort of jokingly said, "Oh, don't be silly," sort of thing. He said, "No, I mean it, you've got to take the top off." And she just walked away in tears, having been totally intimidated by the police. I think perhaps where I went wrong was I said, which is the offensive word on here.
So what happened to your sales after this?
Well, boomed.
You know you're going to be arrested for wearing that.
Good.